Hi, it's Jane. It's day 35 of 40 days of tenderness, and the card I picked for today was Guinevere, True Love. The romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you. Which is beautiful. I'm not feeling that romantic at the moment. I actually feel very, I don't know, kind of like blah. Which is a funny thing to say when you have, these are apparently called fascinators, these headpieces. So yeah, it's weird to say that you feel blasé when you have a fascinator on top of your head. But such is the irony of life. Yeah. So let's see. Earlier today, I realized I needed to take a break from like the internet because I generally am not really I'm really not into technology that much, and I don't like being online. But because I make videos and I communicate with people online, I end up being on there for that. And there's a lot of, like, I take classes online and listen to recordings online. So, but I'm not one of those people that kind of, I do it for entertainment, you know? But it's interesting. What I noticed is, especially last night, it's like, so I created a video, a poem, which was kind of new, the way it happened. And it brought together a lot of things for me. It was like the metaphor of the butterfly in this class I'm taking, which is about storytelling and transformation using the butterfly stages as a map. And then the poem was just about something I've been feeling personally for a while, and it was good to get out. And then adding music to the video was fun because I've thought about creating videos that were more like artistic experiences for a couple years, but I always thought it was something I'd have to wait to do until I had more money so I could do it properly, like hire someone to record it and have proper costumes and a producer and lighting, you know. And so it was really cool to just be able to just do it. And when I was finished, I was like, it's pretty cool. I mean, I have like a painting I did in there. I'm reading a poem that I wrote, and I'm in it, and I made it. And it just felt like, it felt good. But what I noticed is after I create something, it's like there's this desire to be acknowledged. And so I find myself, it's weird. It's like you think, well, if I just created something, I'm like, feel that kind of rush and it's satisfying. And it is, but then there's this like immediate, I guess it's an attachment to want it to be received. And so when I don't have that, I feel dissatisfied. Like last night I felt really restless and I started eating again, and it was just something weird to notice. And what it emphasized is like what I was saying, like why I think it's important to create a space where people have a chance to get in touch with their creative expression, and then where it can be reflected and supported. Because, you know, in the normal world, it's just not validated very much. It's like, even if, I mean, I remember, you know, I'd listen to a beautiful song and then tell someone, oh, you should listen to the song, but there's just not that much space in the day, you know, or if people listen, they're not really paying attention. I just feel like there needs to be like a dedicated space where what is in people's hearts and what they're passionate about can be honored at the level that the person is creating it. And for that to happen, it takes intention. And it just made me realize how much I need it for myself, because it's not something that's it's not going to be satisfied with like Facebook likes, or even showing them to a friend. I mean, unless that friend is very attuned with creativity and the importance of it, and holds it sacred the same way that that I do. It's like showing something to like your parents, or it's just like, yeah, they'll probably be like, oh, that's nice, but they're not going to be able to give you that level of reflection or feedback, or just like just seeing it for what it is, that is really satisfying, I think, particularly for an artist. And so it was good. I guess it was just like more motivation to continue to try to facilitate spaces like that. Again, I'm a little bit lost as to how, but I just set up the class. I pushed it out a week, and I also just described it a little bit differently, more like what I just said, like a sanctuary where people can actually just have like meaningful conversation. It doesn't even necessarily have to be about art. It's just that I find that creative expression is something that we're all longing for. I mean, that's what happens when you're having really good conversation. And it's like an act of faith. Like you're putting yourself out there and communicating something in a way that was never been done before, and that's what art is. And so that's why I think it's so powerful, because it's getting us in touch with the divine in us, the part of us that's not just like regurgitating or small talk, or trying to say the thing that we want the other person, that we think the other person wants to hear, but actually like being in the moment and creating something new. So we'll see what happens with that. And the other thing that came to mind is, I was really starting to feel like, okay, if I'm accepting that my work is really making art and, facilitating these groups, which I don't know. I'm just like, I wonder if it's, I'm really open to just getting a job. Like the idea of, it's not that I wasn't not open to it before, but I just felt like I really believed in my work and how much time it takes. Like I work all the time, and I felt like if I had a job, it would take away from that, and that I needed to like believe in myself and keep going. Especially because like all these shifts happening, so I keep thinking, oh, I'm getting closer and closer, like this is gonna work, I just have to hang in there. And if I like split my time and get a regular job, then it's going to break the momentum, and it's kind of like giving up. But today I was like, maybe, gosh, I just thought of like the pressure that would relieve, like if I could just really just like make art for fun, or just not have that stress on top of it. And if I could just go to events and talk to people and not feel like there was this undertone of like, this needs to go towards something, how much mental energy that would free up. And maybe time-wise, I wouldn't have as much time, but it's like I would have more energy because I wouldn't feel so like I'm doing everything myself, and not really seeing much progress like on the outside. So I was open to that idea. But then, so today I was just like gonna relax. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm just gonna relax. But then I was guided to, go back into some business courses that I had taken before. And I was like, why am I being guided to do this? If I'm supposed to just get a job. Like, but I started looking into it, and I could feel that, like, the sense of overwhelm that's like quite familiar. There's so many pieces to look at, in kind of creating your own business, and I find that I lose focus, or I don't know what's happened in the past. I get overwhelmed. So I start doing some pieces and then I don't go all the way. Oh, I know. What happens is I'll start getting into the business thing, but then I'll really go into like my mind and like my analytical side, and then I'll start being like getting very like masculine, and and then I realize, like, I don't want to be like this. This is like not the direction I'm going. So I start to kind of move away from that traditional business template, and I feel like I want to do work differently. Like, even the way I'm talking about this art thing, it's like, to be this open and not try to come off as an expert or market it in a certain way is not traditional. So I'm kind of going on faith. And so this whole 40 days of just like trusting and kind of being in this divine feminine energy, rather than even like spiritual businesses, most of them still work. They use the same principles as regular businesses. And so I was confused. And this is what usually happens. Like, I don't know how to be in the middle with it. It's like, I either just like go on complete faith, and that's when I'm like, something's just gonna show up. Like, I just have to trust myself and make art all day, and some opportunity is gonna show up. I'm just gonna be in complete trust. Or I feel like I need to like work and like follow these rules and go all the way, and then get this, and then be successful, and that's the way the mission is going to be served. So I just was like, okay, I'm like listening to all these principles again and writing down all the steps that I would need to take. And of course, in my mind, I was thinking also of like the message yesterday about Saturn and like growing up and being responsible. And it's like, okay, does that mean I need to really look at all these steps and do the things that I start but don't finish, because then I feel like it's not really aligned with like the divine feminine? Is that my idealistic, spiritual, ungrounded self-talking, and I can't believe in like things are just going to happen easily and I have to do the grunt work? And is that what growing up means? Or does growing up mean to fully commit and believe in myself and keep going in the direction that I've been going in lately, and really keep trusting that and committing fully? So that was the quandary I was in, and what came to me is it's both. The reason why doing the business steps or whatever gets overwhelming is because I put a lot of pressure on myself. If I didn't feel like I have to do this or I'm not going to be successful, then I could just approach it like an experiment. Part 2.